Let's power up your pricing and create an irresistible offer that your clients are going to love. I'm Laura Brunton and I do this day in and day out with my clients so that they can get the results that they're looking for. Where do we start? Number one, we start with the goal. I want you to be thinking here with the end in mind. Always start off with you. You're a business owner. You're not doing this as a hobby. You've got bills to pay, haven't you? So how much do you need to earn every single month? What is the minimum amount that you need to take in that is going to pay your bills? So when you're looking at your financial goal, you're looking at the minimum. So it might be, for example, 2K. That will pay yourself. It'll pay any system costs that you've got. It'll really make sure that your time is worth doing. And then the next question you want to be asking yourself about your goal and money is, how much do I want to be bringing in? What would be the ideal amount where all of your bills are taken care of and then you've got money to breathe? You can just calm your nervous system down a little bit. You're going to get out of feast and famine and you're going to be able to make really sensible decisions and build a business that's going to be here for the long term. You can pause this at any time, okay? So I want you to have those two figures in mind, minimum and ideal. Number two. I then want you to be thinking about what is the main thing that you're going to be selling. So think of the one thing, about the one thing that you're going to be promoting that is going to be your core focus. Now, it's very likely if you're a service-based business owner that it's your one-to-one work, be it coaching, consultancy. It could be you do done-for-you services if you're in social media, for example, or if you're a photographer or a fitness trainer. So it's either one-to-one and done for you. Now, hopefully this makes sense as to why you would concentrate on that. The first thing is, it's you. You know your area of expertise inside and out. It's likely that you've got very low setup costs, haven't you? So there's low barriers to entry. It also means that your profit margins are higher because you're not having to pay for other things to be able to satisfy that customer with their need. And also, I see this time and time again, that people automatically think, oh, I've got to protect my time. I want to have a scalable business and I'm going to jump through into a group program. Don't jump before you're ready, okay? You really want to make sure that you've optimized your core thing that you're known for, that you're getting your clients amazing results, that you've got the confidence that you can promote and deliver this all day long with ease. So strip it right back and come to the core thing of your business in that one thing. Now, if you're thinking about pricing and you're not sure where to start, always start off with your hourly rate. Okay, because we're going to use this to build up our irresistible offer. Now, if you're not sure on what rate to charge, as a general rule of thumb, especially if you're in the UK, you need to be, I would say, £30 minimum. And it could be anywhere up to £500 and beyond. So at least £30. And again, you want to make sure that you're covering your costs in there, don't you? Have a look, do some market research, see what other people are offering. What I want you not to do is be in a race to the bottom and think, oh God, I've got to undercut people so that I'm the obvious choice at the lowest price, because that doesn't always work. Cheaper isn't always better. We know that, don't we? And stand by your prices, own them with conviction. So you've got an hourly rate, which might be anything from, let's say, £30 an hour to £500, depending on what your expertise is, how long you've been doing it for, how qualified you are, how good you are, what the market conditions are like, i.e. how much demand is there, and also how much of a supply is there already in the marketplace, i.e. your competitors. So we know what that hourly rate is. This is a really powerful question that I put to my client the other day. If I was to bring an ideal client right in front of you right now and say, here you go, help this person, I want you to be thinking about what is the result that they're looking for and how long would it take you to help them to achieve that result. So client result. So I'm going to keep this really simple. Client yesterday, for the transformation that she can help her people with, she needs 6 hours. I asked her how long does she need to be able to do those 6 hours. She would do them over 3 months, 12 weeks, so that the clients have got time to do the reflections, do the homework in between, and then they're ready for the next session. So you know already, if you've locked on to what your hourly rate is, you can now start timesing it by the amount of, this could be hours, it could be days, whatever time period works for you, but keep it simple. times it by hours. So for this one, it was 6 hours. So 6 times, she was actually £75 an hour. Awesome. And if I remember and I've done my maths right, that's about £450. So she knows already that she's got a core service and a core product that she's going to be charging at least £450 from. One of my top pieces of advice for you would be ditch the hourly working as soon as you can, okay? I want you to be able to build an offer that has got some longevity, whether it be for a week, a month, 3 months, 6 months. When we operate on hourly paid, we're not necessarily going to have and create the deepest client results. We want those transformations for our clients, don't we? We want to be able to upskill them and produce really good quality work. And also, it just means that it's really unreliable. It's feast and famine. You've got your nervous system that is going to be on edge all of the time because you're on the entrepreneurial roller coaster, aren't you? You don't know what's coming in, sometimes day in and day out, never mind month in and month out. So the quicker you can get your mindset locked onto, I'm not going to do hourly anymore. I know what my rate is. I know what the minimum level of time that my client needs. And then I know where I've got my core price in there. We are cooking with gas, okay? Then what you want to do is build that into a compelling offer, don't you? So with an offer, I could wax lyrical on this for hours, let's be honest. But with an offer, you want it to be irresistible. So you want to make the main thing, i.e. coaching, therapy, training, photography, social media. But you want to be giving your clients an incentive to work with you and invest that money either upfront or maybe over 2 payments, or it might be that they do a retainer option with you as well. But you want to be keeping them around for a longer period of time so they get better results and then your cash flow situation is better as well. So wherever you come to in this, I want you to start thinking, have I got some bonuses that I could offer them? Now, the chances are that you might have a kitchen sink offer, which is where you've thrown everything into it. It's all a mishmash. And sometimes you can't really ascertain what the value is unless you pull out those component parts. So for example, with that client, her core thing was therapy. But what she also did was she offered personalised EFT. Do you do the tapping to really anchor in those different changes? Now, she provided that as standard for the service. And what she could also do was give a personalised script from there. So straight away, ding, 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 bonus bells ringing in my head. You've got the core service is 6 hours of therapy. Value what that bonus would be on its own, and then you can add that in. You might want to add other incentives in as well, which is if people were to take a 6-hour package with you or a 10-hour package, they'll get an hour for free. So really, the world's your oyster. You can get creative on that. Again, if you get stuck, have a look at your marketplace, see what's going on as standard practice, and then see where you can step in and delight your people. So point 6 is going to loop us back to point 1, which is what is the goal? I want to remind you, I know you know this, but sometimes it does get lost in translation, that your sales equals the price at what you're charging and the quantity or the number of the things that you're selling. We know this, right? If you're wanting to be hitting anywhere between, say, 2 and 4K, if you're still playing around in the hourly pricing section, or you've got a low ticket offer, i.e. anything less than £100, you just know from a maths perspective that you need to sell a ton of them to be able to achieve that higher figure, don't you? So my invitation here would be, how can you charge a price that's really reflective of the services that you've got so that you're having to sell fewer of them? That is often a goal with service-based businesses. So as a general rule of thumb, if you can, you want to be having a 4-figure offer. So something that you can charge £1,000 upwards. And then already you can start to see you might only need 3 or 4 of those clients a month to be able to hit your goals. And it means that you can have a clear look at your diary and know what you're going to be spending your time on when, so that you can service that amazing client. So again, have a think about, if I'm playing around in the bottom ends, look, take the emotion out of it. Factually, it is going to take me a long time to get to those thousands of pounds that I want to be getting into. Now, a word of caution here, my darling, on the pricing point. Just because you can charge a lot doesn't mean you should charge a lot. Now, you know me, I am the biggest fan of women charging their worth and women commanding prices that are reflective of their expertise. And money mindset, let's be honest, money mindset is a topic in itself, isn't it? Sometimes we get a bit greedy, or we see what other people are charging and we go, yeah, I'll add an extra zero on that, I can charge that. My invitation to you here would be, think about the value that you're delivering and then think about what is the maximum price that anybody would pay for my service. And I would invite you to charge less than that maximum price. So just because somebody, for example, for me, would pay 10 grand for 6 months worth of coaching because the results they get are so explosive and they make that money back easily within that period of time, I've chosen not to charge 10 grand. So I charge 6 grand, for example. So it means that I've got that gap of 4 grand and that's the delight zone. That's where clients are going to go, oh my God, I would pay so much more for her. I would have paid up to 10 grand, but I know I've got a great deal. I feel really engaged. We've got a great relationship together. And actually I'm going to refer her to everybody that I know because it is such a good deal. I'm really happy with that. So that's another way to delight your customers as well, is just keeping an eye on that price point and not going ridiculous. Because let's be honest, some people really do, don't they? All right, we're getting on to point 7 now, coming towards the end. So what do you actually charge and then how do you charge it? So I'm going to talk to you about some numbers here. So you will see that prices can start anywhere from £10, let's be honest, maybe for a masterclass, or it might be for some templates that you might buy, an ebook, a guide, all the way upwards. As a general rule of thumb, when you're doing service-based products, ideally you want to be getting above the 500 mark. You want to be £1,000 upwards based upon whether it's a low offer, a middle offer, or a high offer. Now, you will notice there's different psychologies around pricing, isn't there? You'll see some people, I'll be honest, I've done it and I do it. I need to think about that. Where, for example, if we look at the actual pricing, say I've got something that's £2,000, all right? I might go 1,997. Now, in a B2C world, business to consumer, this is fairly standard practice, isn't it? Or it might be you charge somebody £99 instead of £100. We see it every day, don't we? All around the world, in all different walks of life, for all different products and services. So this is definitely a valid sales psychology perspective where you can keep the amount just under the top figure for it. My invitation to you would be, and I've really reflected on this based on where I see the industry going, the online industry, the personal development space, is call it what it is. So what you might want to do is just round up and really stand by your figures. So you might just say, no, actually for the sake of £3, I'm just going to tell my person that it's a 2 grand offer. It's a 100 grand offer. Whatever decision you make, stand in it with integrity and make sure that you're acting from a really ethical perspective where it's not smoke and mirrors, you're not pulling the wool over anybody's eyes. People can really see in that juicy offer that you've built up, wow, this is the core offer and I know what this is worth on its own. Look at all this extra stuff that I'm going to get as well. It is absolutely worth that. Now, the extension to this point on pricing is you'll hear perhaps 3 different expressions. You might hear PIF, which is pay in full. That's what the majority of us would like. You might hear PP, which is a payment plan. And you might hear MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue. So let's break it down. With a pay in full price, it could be fantastic for you and the client. From the client's perspective, they know where they're at money-wise, they've made the investment, boom, done. Don't need to mess on with any repayment plans. And ideally, that should be the best offer that you've got as well. So everybody feels great. You know you've got the cash in the bank and you can plan your bills and you can plan your cash flow accordingly. Now, not everybody can pay in full, can they? Especially when it comes up to the higher ticket items. So that's where you might consider having a payment plan. Now, there's 2 things that you need to think about here. You want to know how long is it going to go for, how many installments, but you also want to think about, do I want to charge some interest with that? That is up to you, and I'm really happy to talk you through in detail some of the steps you can take to make that decision. It tends to be standard practiced in industries, just like if you were to buy a washing machine or a car. If you don't pay for it in cash up front, it costs you longer, doesn't it? Because the seller isn't getting the amount of money, and the risk is all on the seller that you could start enjoying the product or the services and then you could just like disappear into the night, never to be seen again. So if you're not sure, you have a think about what sits comfortably with you, whether you want to add on a percentage. Anything between 10 to 20% tends to be industry standard. So I'll leave that one with you there. So hopefully you feel more comfortable. You know what pay in full is. You know what a payment plan is. Now, payment plans are really good for you to be getting in monthly recurring revenue, MRR. It's brilliant because it means you're not starting each month on zero and from scratch. It's sometimes better for the client because they can manage their cash flows, and it might be that they're already starting to see a return on their investment before they've even paid off their investment, which is brilliant. So again, try and think about what you can do, whether it be in your services or your products, where you can have that monthly recurring revenue coming in. And then the last point, arguably the most important point, is your energy and your emotion. So how does it feel for you, okay? Like I've said, pricing is such an emotive topic, isn't it? What I've found is if you charge too low, you're going to end up feeling disrespected, aren't you? You're going to end up feeling disgruntled, and you're going to think, oh my God, they've got this offer for such a steal, and why did I charge that much? I wish I charged this amount. I don't even want to do the work, but I am going to do the work. But let's be honest, it might not be the best bit of work that I've ever done. If you charge too high, it might be that you've gotten the money in there and then, but you're feeling like a fraud, you're feeling like you're going to get caught out. It could be that you end up over-delivering. So what started off as a high amount on paper, actually the profit is getting dwindled and it's diminishing because you're putting in so much extra hours and so much extra effort and service to truly delight that customer because you've stretched yourself too far. If you think about money as an energetic exchange, you want to know that the offer that you've put out into the world, when it's being accepted and that person's paying you money, they're going to get an equal to or higher amount of value than the price that you're commanding. So keep it simple. Whatever you put out, know that whatever price you put on there, how do you feel if that person pays you that amount? It should be an amount that excites you, that you feel activated by, that you're really happy to deliver the work for. But also, it should be an amount that scares you a little bit, where you think, are they actually going to pay that? Oh, I don't, yes, they paid it. So think about the emotion that you're attaching to your price as well. And think about the emotion from the client's perspective as well. You want them to be like, yes, I'm working with Laura. She's incredible. I'm so pleased that I've got in at this price point. Yeah, I'm a little bit nervous. I know there's other people that do similar to her that I could have got it for that was cheaper. Similarly, I know that there's some people that charge way more, but I'm really happy with that investment. It's a good investment and I'm so excited to do the one-to-one with her, to do the group program. We've gone into depth here. I really hope that this has been helpful. If there's any areas of this, and I'll recap below, that you're not clear on, please give me a shout, okay? I do this day in and day out. I absolutely love it. And once you get the pricing right, you get your offer right, your business will fly. Clients will feel it, they'll see it, and they'll be queuing up to work with you.